Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to Lone Oak Farm. We're into the first day of summer in year 2 and we have glorious sunshine. In fact, we actually have glorious sunshine predicted for the entire season. It looks as though it's going to be a very, very sunny summer. Indeed, no rain in the predicted calendar. Of course, that is subject to change. We have seen in the past that we always seem to get, when we play seasons, a mystery hailstorm, you know, somewhere around the middle of summer. It doesn't usually last very long, but we always get that mystery hailstorm, regardless of the map we're on or the geo we're using. It always seems to happen. Whether that'll happen again this year or not, who knows? But let's see what happens with that. You can see I've added to my tool selection over here. This is something I did after I sold the case 1455, because I bought myself some pallet forks. This is yeah, they're the JCB pallet forks, nice and cheap. I think like $800 if that. And that's simply so that we can have a way to move the pallets around now that we no longer have a tractor with a front loader, you know, stationed over here, now that the 1455 has been relocated to the orchard. And we can do everything we need to with our Bobcat. And of course, you know, we drive over here in the truck and we're using that to, you know, connect up to a water trailer, which we'll do in a second. Let's just give these a bail. There we go. Is that enough? Yeah, that's enough. You can see we're up to 70 sheep now. Their health is climbing still. They're up to 87%. That's good to see. We're going to have to wait a few more minutes to tick over to see whether they've finished breeding. I think lambing season is now over. We should still be producing some wool though, which is always good. And you can see there were 2 pallets outside there. There are actually another couple of pallets just pushed off to the side as well. So we do actually have more than just 2 pallets of wool. I just kind of cleared the area a little bit, shoved them to the side. Let's get that hooked back up. There we go. 3 bales left. That's enough to get us through the summer, I think, with a bale every 2 days. So yeah, we are going to need to do some more hay at some point. I think we'll do that with our second cut of grass, because I want to turn this field there into silage. That's going to be, you know, one of the main jobs that we do today, is to start doing some silage work. And there's the other 2 pallets there. Look, you can see just shoved to the side. So we do have plenty of wool. Let's just top up the water trough. Is that going to be enough, or are we going to have to refill this? It's enough, just. So I'll drop that off. And I think we are done here. Yes, we are. So let's head back to the farm and let's take a look at the jobs that we're going to need to do today. So as you saw at the end of the last episode, I did work through into the night to make sure that we got our soybean field planted. And it's a good thing I did, because we got a start of a new transition as we moved into spring. Sorry, from spring into summer. And you can see that we already have the first stage of growth on our soybean field. So it kind of caught up a little bit, you know, because it was the start of a new transition. You know, the first 2 days of summer. That ticked over overnight, so it had only been in the ground for about an hour and a half, and then it immediately started growing, which is, you know, insane, but also really helpful, because I was seriously worried that that field might lag behind a little bit. And the fact that we actually have, you know, this large soybean field already now up to stage 1 and in sync with our other soybean fields is actually, you know, very helpful indeed. And the good weather that we are predicted for the rest of summer is going to hopefully make it very easy for us to get our wheat and barley and our canola, you know, off the fields and into the combines. So you can see here we're just driving through our soybean fields. We're going to need to spray these today. Some of these will be stage 2. Some of these will be getting their final application. And our corn has started growing as well, I believe. I can just see what looks to be a little bit of corn growth. And even our grass has grown a little bit since I cut it yesterday. And that's grown back a stage as well. So I did weed that last night, and that's going to need another weeding again. And there is our corn. As you can see, our corn has started growing as well. So I was slightly worried that we were not seeing much growth on some of our crops. All of that has now been kind of put to rest. We have growth on everything. All of our fields are in some shape or form, making growth progress. So today's kind of jobs are going to be fertilizing these fields that need a final stage of fertilizer, or even in some cases a second stage. Getting those as close to being prepped as done. There's our canola fields just there. And then once we've done that, hopefully by then the trailer we need for our forage harvester will arrive, and we'll be able to do some mowing on field 24 and start creating a load of chaff for loose silage at the BGA. Let's just put the truck away because I don't think we're going to need the truck again today. There we go. And close the door. Right, so let's quickly take a look at, first of all, the fields. Actually, no, our animals have ticked over a bit. No, they're still not showing any reproduction. So I think we're outside of lambing season, but it'll be interesting to see if the wool continues to spawn. That should, spawn throughout summer as well. So, animals, where are we? No, fields. We'll get it right. This is our current growth status here, so you can see that everything has started growing. These are now on stage 2 growth. These slightly lighter fields down here, and it's quite difficult to see between the two stages, but these are slightly lighter. These are now into stage 1 of growth, which is good to see. And there's stage 2, again, slightly darker, but not much. And even at the top here, you can see our corn up here has started to grow as well. So if we look at the fertilizing chart, you can see we need to put stage 2 on these two fields up here. We need to put stage 2 on this great big soybean field just here. And then stage 3 on these fields here, and then obviously we're going to need to weed the grass as well. We've got 2 days to weed the grass, today and tomorrow, so that might not happen today. We'll probably do the weeding tomorrow. And then stage 2 needs to be applied here, and a final stage to this canola field here as well. So we've got a lot of spraying to get done. We will be doing some of that ourselves, and some of that will be done by our worker. And as I say, we're going to be doing some manual mowing, so that is going to kind of take precedence. We do have some damp ground right now at the moment. This is kind of left over from the rain that came late last night / early this morning. But beyond that, you can see we have a glorious summer ahead of us. Just blistering sunshine all day, every day for the entirety of summer. I love that. That's going to be so good. Means we'll be able to do our grass work without any worry of it raining halfway through. Of course, we may still get the odd shower, and I do still expect us to get that mysterious hailstorm that always hits us in summer. But beyond that, we should be pretty good, I think. So let's get started with the sprayers. Break this out and get started in 1 or 2 of our fields. And as soon as the trailer turns up, we will head over and start working away on mowing field 24 and collecting that as chaff to be dumped into the BGA. And we're going to start off with field 32/33 because this just needs one final application of fertilizer, and then it is done, completely done, and just needs to be harvested. So we'll get this one out the way, and it's one less field that we then have to worry about until harvest time. From there, we'll probably move on to field 50, the really big field, because that's only stage 1, and I want to get that as close to stage 2 as quickly as possible. And we'll start sort of sweeping around. Now, we are going to need to do a lot of on-the-go refills today. So what we will do as well is when Manning's opens at 8 o'clock, we will head over to the store, and we'll take our gooseneck trailer and we'll buy some liquid fertilizer pallets, and then we'll have a mobile kind of top-up sort of driving around to be able to refill our sprayer. Rather than bringing it all the way back to the farm, we'll have some pallets on the trailer which we can move around from field to field and refill our sprayer on the go. I think that's going to be a much better way for us to do it, and it's certainly going to save a lot of back and forth trips to our farm at just 17 miles an hour. It's not exactly a fast machinery, this old sprayer here. So that's definitely going to make things a lot easier for us. And with this getting stage 3, this will put us in a position where pretty much all of our fields at this part of the farm are all done. So this will be at stage 3 after this application. That other canola field there is already at stage 3. Our 2 wheat fields, 30 and 35, they are already at stage 3 as well. So it is a big block of fields that we don't have to worry about for the rest of the summer until they are ready to be harvested. That's going to make things, you know, I say, a lot easier when it comes to remembering what fields need what work doing. And we can get a few more fields to that point a little later today, you know, hopefully as well. It's just a case of, you know, picking the right ones in the right order and trying to get a real sense of accomplishment done, I think. And I must remember as well, we need to make sure that we spray our cornfields 5 and 6 today. They have to be done because we're going to be chaffing that corn before it finishes growing. Don't forget, we're going to try chaffing that in its final growth stage, so we need to make sure that it's fully fertilized long before it gets to that, so that we can just jump on that as soon as it's ready and start chaffing away. Don't want to have to, you know, hold things up by, oh, I forgot to spray that field, let's fertilize it first, and waste a load of time that way. So choosing the right fields in the right order is going to be a very important thing for us to take into consideration. But I will carry on spraying away over here, and I'll catch up to you when this field is done. Our first field is coming to a close. You can see we are almost done. Just got this final strip here that we're working on, and then it's complete. So what we'll do then is we'll refill at the farm, and we'll head over to fields 5 and 6, and we'll get those sprayed, because I do want to make sure those get done today. We talked about the importance of making sure those are done, you know, just a moment ago. And I've been looking at that strip of grass along there, and I think I might make some hay along there, just to top up our number of bales at the sheep farm, and that way I can divert our actual grass fields proper to making sure that we have plenty of grass for silage. We could stand to make a huge amount of silage this year. We really can mow up to 4 times. I think we may possibly miss out on the 4 times. We may just get 3, but even 3 fully staged cuts, because last year we only got a stage 2 growth on our 3rd cut. If we get 3 full stage cuts and then maybe even a partial 4th stage, that's going to give us a huge amount of grass to play about with. And of course we did 2 rounds on both fields, 2 rounds of silage baling last year, and that'll all be loose chaff this year, apart from obviously the first cut that we did on 44, that is bales, but will be shredded, at least in part, and the rest will be kept for food. So we could stand to, you know, really make a huge impact on one of those bunkers at the BGA. The other one's got a little bit in there already that is about halfway through its fermentation process, and that is so that I can actually transfer loose silage up there and build a nice big stockpile before we do some dumping, before we start doing some tipping. So yeah, really looking forward to see just how much silage we can produce this year, and that's going to give us a massive amount of digestate ready for next year. So that when we come to spray our fields with slurry, we can use the digestate from the BGA and again get some fertilizing done for free without having to pay, you know, for the liquid fertilizer we're using here with this sprayer. That'll save us a fair bit of cash, because some of these fields aren't small at all. I mean, you saw how much we managed to get done of just those silage bales last year. Now we should get even more, hopefully, this year, which means we can do a large number of fields with digestate at least once, possibly all of them at least once if we're really lucky. I don't think we'll quite have enough to be able to do every single field, but we should be able to make as I say, enough to get at least a large number of our fields sprayed with digestate at least once. So that can be very, very beneficial indeed. Right, let's get topped up and then we'll make our way over to fields 5 and 6. So we've touched on the weather for summer, which looks absolutely fantastic, but what is perhaps slightly disconcerting is the first 2 days of autumn, which is, I'm expecting, going to be when at least our corn or soybeans or both might start to become ready for harvesting. We have rain forecast for both of those days, so that could potentially become a little bit of an issue if autumn is going to start off very wet and then stays very wet. Then we could be in for a bit of a mad scramble trying to get everything harvested at the end of the year. Really hope that's not going to be the case, but until we progress a bit through summer and see a little bit more of that calendar start to open up for autumn, we're really not going to know exactly where we stand. Let's get the beacons off now that we're off the road. Very, very slow moving vehicle this. And let's do some spraying. This field is so small in comparison to some of the fields that we've been working on. It's going to be over and done ridiculously quickly. Let's get the booms lowered. There we go. And off we go. Got to remember as well, I've got to be very careful about that ditch at the end of this field. So we will put a headland in at the other end, just so that we don't end up accidentally driving into that ditch when we go to turn around. See, there is a little bit of traffic on the road starting to move around. It's quite lucky actually. I was worried that we might be holding traffic up, moving so slowly down that sort of main road there, but luckily there was nothing behind us, so we didn't cause any queues or get any irate motorists honking at us. But it is always a worry when you have a very slow piece of machinery like this driving down the road that you are going to have a big impact on the local traffic. And it's something that people who live in rural areas just have to contend with on a daily basis. You know, that they may well, you know, have farm machinery moving up and down the roads at slow speeds, and you know, making for awkward visibility as well, given their size and maybe what they're carrying as well. Even for me here, where I live on the side of a main road opposite a university, and it's one of the main routes into the city, but there's some rural farms nearby. It's quite a lot of agricultural land just you know, a couple of miles away, if that, and there are some fields in much closer proximity, within like half a mile of where I live. And so I do see, going down that main road on a regular basis, as well as seeing like a local farmer mowing the university playing field on a regular basis, I do also see trailers with bales going back and forth outside the window from time to time in baling season, and you know, just agricultural machinery getting moved around on that main road. So that's in a built-up area, so you can imagine what it must be like on a twisty country road here in the UK, where it can be difficult to pass, and you can be difficult to see around the vehicle as well. Not so much of an issue here in the States, with long straight roads and plenty of opportunity and visibility, but it's a little trickier here in the UK. Oh, look at that. I'm not going to be able to do this properly. I'm going to need to do a little thin pass, so I think what I'll do is I'll probably zigzag my way through that final strip, just to make sure that I can, you know, do it without using up way more spray than I need to. And then once this is done, we'll pop over the road and we'll do the considerably larger field 6. That'll be a bit more of a challenge on us in terms of our capacity, but I think we should have enough on hand to be able to do that field without the need for a refill. I say zigzagging, it's more of a sort of a snaking movement, I suppose, than a zigzag. But we'll do this just so we're not wasting a lot of spray on the way down. Of course, with these skinny wheels, we're not damaging the crop, but in reality you would never do this because you would damage the crop. But you know, the way crop destruction works in this game. With skinny wheels, you do 0 damage at all, so we can kind of, you know, be a little bit creative in some instances. Right. Get the booms folded. Is the ground stable enough here at the end of this sort of pathway for me to get across? I think we can just about do it. There is a little bit, yeah, it's a bit, I have to be careful. Let's get the beacons on. That's a bit rough, but we can get away with it. Let this guy go through. That's a glorious shot there. I mean, that's all off map. Those fields, that traffic and the road going down there and that house, it's all off the map, but it looks fantastic. I love the living borders on maps by Oxygen David and Bullet Bill. They just are absolutely fantastic. They really do just give so much more character to the map. I mean, just look at that. That looks as though it's actually part of the map, and it's you can't access it. You can't go past that little dip in the road there. That's pretty much where the car is now. That's the edge of the map, just there. Right, let's get field 6 sprayed, and then once this is done, we will grab the pickup and our gooseneck, and we'll get some pallets done, and we'll head on over to field 50 and start spraying that one. Okay, so with field 6 done, we're heading to field 50, and we are causing a bit of a problem with traffic this time. Very slow, not a lot really we can do about that, but we're off the road, and now the traffic can breathe a sigh of relief as they all start to file past where we were. So the premise on this is nice and simple. We're just going to go up and down the field as best we can, and while our worker is busy spraying away on this field, we are going to be grabbing some fertilizer pallets from the store, loading them up onto the back of the gooseneck, and then bringing them over here as a mobile top-up point. I'm also still waiting for delivery of our trailer. It's now as near as close as damn it 10 o'clock, and it still hasn't arrived yet, so hopefully that'll turn up in the next hour or so, and then we can get a start on doing some grass work for the afternoon. Keeping my fingers crossed that we won't have to wait too much longer for that. So let's see if I can get everything stacked quite easily with the pallets. I've always found that the pallet forks for the skid steers have been a little less than stellar. Hopefully this one will be alright. The CSZ pallet forks are essentially useless. They're so hard to use, they're so thin and spindly, and you can't change the spacing on them. They are absolutely terrible, I've found, for any kind of pallet work. Really can't get on with them at all. Just square that up a little bit. Might have gone a little bit too far, but never mind. We only need 4 pallets. That's 8,000 litres. That should be enough, I think, to act as a good mobile top-up point. And then if we do run out, I don't want to end up with too much, you see. So I'd rather just stick to just say 8,000 and be done with it. I just realised I picked this up a different way. I don't. It doesn't all matter. It's all fertiliser, isn't it? Can I get 2 of these on width ways? Should be able to. Yeah, look at that. That's perfect. So let's strap those down. And do the same with the other ones. And then this is just going to trundle back down the road, which is why I fitted a beacon to it back at the workshop. I'm going to trundle this back down the road to the sheep farm, and obviously the trailer and pickup will make their way over towards field 50, where they'll do their first top up, and then beyond that, just wherever the sprayer goes, the truck will follow. So I'm just going to spread the weight around a little bit. I'm not sure how this will react, this trailer. Oh, are we stuck? Are we wedged? Like, we're okay. Just want to spread the weight of those pallets around, not stack it all at the front or all at the back, because I'm not sure how well this trailer will react once it's connected up with you know, a weight applied to the trailer that's not evenly spread. We have seen in the past some trailers can behave very strangely if you don't have the weight, you know, very well spread or balanced across. They can really pitch forward or backwards quite a lot. And you know, it's not so bad with a tractor. It's a big heavy piece of machinery, but with a truck it's always you know, more of an issue because they're a lot more lightweight. There we go, that's perfect. So we'll strap these down as well. Oops. Only one strap on that, that's fine. So let's get this back to the sheep farm. And once we've done that, again, we're going to be holding traffic up. We'll probably have to hug the curb a bit this time. Oh, there's no indicators on this, is there? Keep forgetting that Bobcat has no indicators. Once we've got this back in the shed, we'll take the pickup down to the bottom of field 50, and be ready and waiting to fill up the sprayer. And I'm just going to hug the curb like this, just in case we do. Actually, no, there's no traffic coming, and it's a really short run. We'll use the road. Because we are next turn off. This one is obviously here for a house. We've actually gone down there and had a look, and then this is our turn off coming up just here. So yeah, I'll see you when we're back on field 50. I'll tell you what, this is actually handled really, really well. And if anything, it's actually made the truck handle a lot better. It doesn't suddenly, you know, slide or turn too sharply around a corner. And the timing's worked out quite well as well, because our sprayer has literally just run out of spray over there. Obviously, we're not going to drive onto the field. That would just, you know, it's still in the early stages of growth, so it won't physically damage the crop. But you know, you wouldn't take a truck like this on there. We'll just turn the sprayer around and we'll drive to the edge of the field. But yeah, we are going to do our first mobile top-up, which is kind of cool. So let's get in position. And once we're done on field 50, we'll move straight across onto field 49. There we go. Let's park up here. Let's jump into the sprayer. You can see this is one of those strange oddities with this particular mod. It runs out of spray, but it just stays there, continually spraying until you get in it, and then all of a sudden the spray shuts off. It's an oddity. But if we jump in, there we go, instantly the spray stops. Let's get the engine restarted. Let's just fold the booms up just for convenience, so I don't know if we're going to have a height clearance issue. It's just easier to fold them up. We'll do a quick refill here, and then we'll get back on that field and continue the spraying. And then, as I say, field 49 will be the next one up. So which of our pallets are we taking from first? Nope, back right. Okay. We won't know which one is next until we hit 4,000 litres of usage, and even then it depends which way we approach. There's no guarantee that the one we've just taken from now will be the one we take from next time as well. It's kind of pot roulette, you know, when it comes to figuring out which one of those pallets will be the next one. That's what we should call it, pallet roulette maybe. Get this lined up again, and off he goes. Fantastic stuff. So I'm just hearing that the trailer that we ordered is on its way and is due to arrive any minute, so we should probably head back to the farm and get ready for that. And there it is. It looks like the delivery company beat us to it, but here is our brand new Randon trailer. $93,200 this cost me. Very, very expensive. But this is obviously from the Sugarcane DLC, and this is a $66,000 66,500 litre trailer. It's a big trailer, basically. And this is going to be... Oops, nearly walked into a load of bales there. It's giving me a bit of frame rate problems. We're going to be using that behind our rostel mash. And obviously, I've had it recoloured so it matches the colour of our rostel mash. If we jump in here... Just grab our mower. There we go. And we're actually going to be taking the 850 with us as well, because what we're going to be doing is running around the field using the rostel mash, mowing and collecting into the back of our new random trailer, and then that is then going to offload into the 850 hook with the boss trailer, which is then going to be what goes to the BGA and tips at the bunker, because it's much more maneuverable, it's easier to control, especially when reversing, and it's just going to make the unload process at the BGA a lot smoother. Plus, it's it's an easier piece of machinery to drive around. This is a bit cumbersome. We'd have to keep detaching the header every time as well. It's going to really speed things up for us. So let's make our way over. Beacon's on. Beacon, we only have the one. Let's make our way over to field 24 and get ready to start mowing. Okay, so can we squeeze through the gate? Yes, we can, just. Excellent stuff. So, I want to lower the header. Oops. Oh! We got rammed by another vehicle. That's nothing to do with us, that's his fault. Right, let's get this turned on and let's start mowing away. Now the plan is to bring the truck into the field, or at least partway into the field, and then once we fill up this trailer here, we'll then be unloading from this trailer into the truck, which is currently parked across the street out of the way until we've cleared a bit of space. And as I say, once we've cleared a bit of a pathway, which I'm going to do in a second, I've got to come back and do that bottom section a few more times to give us kind of almost like a roadway into this sort of central section here. So we've got a turning area for our truck. You can come in, turn around, and be a place for us to unload. Once we've done that, we'll be able to, as I say, run the truck up and down the field. Run this up and down the field, mowing away, transfer the grass to our truck. That'll then go over to the BGA and come back, and hopefully if I can get a worker running on this, it'll be able to carry on working away while we're at the BGA. That's kind of the plan. I'm not sure actually. Let me see if I can hire a worker like this. Yes, I can. There we go, worker hired. Excellent stuff. So this will be nice and straightforward kind of process here, and it'll allow us to continue to mow and gather grass while we are unloading the previous cut into the BGA itself. That's kind of the plan. Obviously we're going to have to create a nice good sized turning area at the end of each end of the field, because this is quite a big bit of equipment, so with the trailer as well it's going to be a little awkward. So take a wide turn around there. Loop our way around the edge of the field. I kind of wish the header was the other way around on this. We were going in the other direction. I should have done that, really, thinking about it. Would have meant that we would have more of an inside line with every pass. It is what it is, though. You can see already we're up to over 25,000 litres of grass. So we can get quite a good amount of grass off this field, and we're going to get 3 times 3 mowing sessions on this field this year, maybe a fourth in some state or another, be it a stage 2 or even a stage 3 if we're lucky. I think probably only a stage 2 growth. But those cuts there will give us a huge amount of grass which we can turn into chaff and then ferment into silage, which we can then get a lot of money for and a lot of digestate for. It could end up being a very profitable little thing that we're doing here. Not just in terms of the money we generate in the silage, but the money we save in fertiliser costs from all the digestate as well. Really looking forward to seeing just how much we can get in the bunker, by the end of the year. We'll need to make sure that come the end of September, not the end of September, sorry, the end of autumn, we'll need to make sure that we are, ready to ferment all that silage and have that sort of fermenting into the beginning of winter, where we'll be looking to sell it in winter. That's kind of the main plan as to when we're going to sell our silage. It'll be sold in winter. We'll spend the year, or the rest of the year, building up the bunker. Let's see if I can turn this around now. It should be a little easier to turn this trailer because we have rear wheel steering on our harvester, so as long as we're careful, we should have a great degree of flexibility. There we go. Right. So now I can run along here another time. And we're actually going to run around the field again one more time. And then come back up that cut there, and that'll probably be where we unload. And then what I want to do is I want to concentrate on getting another couple of passes along the bottom of this field. And there you can see, having that wider extension on one side means that just hire a worker to run straight along here. Try and straighten line this up a bit. It means that when we do turn those corners, because we've got the header sticking out a little bit more on one side, oh, he doesn't want to go any further, we'll have to manually take over. Because he doesn't want to go, because we have it sticking out more on the right hand side, it means when we turn to the right, we're not dragging the trailer through freshly cut grass, whereas we are on this side, because the header stops almost in line with the wheels. It just sticks out just a little bit. With a much bigger offset on the right hand side, means if we work in a clockwise direction around the field, we won't do any damage to the grass that's yet to be cut. That's the theory anyway. It may turn out to be slightly different than that in practice, and it's kind of what I'm expecting to see. You'll see as we get to the edges little bits where the rear wheels of the trailer, or even the front wheels of the trailer, might have tagged the corner of the grass that we were moving on. So this is aimed, hopefully, going in this direction will prevent that from happening. You can see just there, look, on that corner we've got a little bit where the wheels cut through and cut the corner from our trailer. So this offset should hopefully prevent that from happening if we go in this direction. So let's see. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That's what I wanted to see. Excellent stuff. Right, so the worker is running along quite nicely. Let's find the truck. This is the quickest and easiest way to do it. There we go. Let's get this in position. Nothing coming. Make our way along the bottom here. Turn around here. And there we go. We are in position for our unload point. Let's jump back into the harvester. Come on, legs, run, run, run. And we are almost at capacity. Fantastic. And that's where we're stopping. So that is the distance that we need for a turning circle. Okay. That's going to be one more pass along the bottom. That's good to know. So this thing tilts from the, you know, on the left-hand side. So I need to get as close as I can to the truck. Which means we're going to have to reposition the truck, because with the header it makes it a little awkward. So this is the only kind of clunky bit of this transfer process, is getting everything lined up for the tip. Otherwise, if there's too big a gap, when the grass starts to tip, it'll tip onto the floor and not into the trailer. So I need to get them nice and close like that. That should do it. So let's switch back. Let's tip the grass, and then we can get the worker hired and running again. And there we go, it's tipping straight into the trailer and not on the floor. That's important, so we don't want to end up with big piles of grass on the floor. And there we go, nice straightforward tip. Slightly under capacity, but close enough. And this is exactly the same principle we did when we corn chaffed, just on a slightly larger scale. So once again, we're going to go this way first of all. Just want to do another pass while we have manual control. Along the bottom. Oops. Don't want to turn that header on just yet. Just to give us a bit more turning area down here. Probably need to do another pass along the bottom as well. Just going to run straight. We've got a little bit of a lull in that corner. That's fine. We can deal with that. Need to keep the trailer nice and straight if I can. Straight enough. There we go. Do that, there we go, and then hopefully I should have enough manoeuvrability to manually make the turn, just. And start the cut, there we go. Right, back to the truck, and then from there we'll go to the BGA. And there you can see, I was saying that I got a small patch of silage that was already fermenting. That is it. And that's to allow me to transfer silage from my main farm into that bunker once that is done fermenting. That's the reason that is there. Because you can't tip loose silage into an empty bunker. It just doesn't let you, unless it's been specifically coded. You know, the default setting is that you can't tip loose silage. It'll say, you know, silage not accepted here. Which, you know, is a strange thing to say when it's, you know, silage is not accepted in a bunker for making silage. But that's just the way it goes. So by having a small patch of silage there, it means that I can then tip and add to the existing silage, not trying to tip loose material into an empty bunker. I'm adding to what's already in there. It's a little workaround that, you know, gets around that little issue that stops you from making the tip. So this is the first of many trips throughout the rest of the year where we will be dumping grass into this bunker using this technique. We still have the rest of field 24 to finish, and then once it's done we'll end up weeding that field and coming back and doing it all again in a few days' time. And same with field 44, that will be given the same mowing treatment, although what I might do there is just mow the grass with our mower set and then run the forage harvester with the collector header instead. Might be a little bit quicker. We'll see how that goes. Right, let's carry on with this. There we go, just finished off this field here, and that's almost an entirely full trailer for our truck as well. That's worked out pretty well. Let's see if we can just tag a little bit more along here. 65 250 is a full trailer. There we go. So we'll have a fraction left in the back of this trailer. That'll just rot away, that's fine. So it's going to be 9 litres. So we park there for a second. Let's get the truck alongside. Oops, bit of a bobble there in the field. There we go, hoping that's going to be close enough. Excellent stuff, there we go. That's the last load of grass from this field. And this will be trailer number 6. So that'll be about 390,000 litres of chaff, give or take. Make our way over to the BGA. There you can see there is our previous 6 loads, or previous 5 loads of chaff. Now what I was doing was I was tipping at 1 mile an hour, and I found that it was just a little bit too, the bunker was just a little bit too short for 2 full tips. So what I've done is I've done the first tip here at 0 miles an hour, and you really crawl along incredibly slowly, and the second one I'll do at 1 mile an hour. And then it'll all fit quite comfortably. There we go. So another load of silage going in. And while it's still in this kind of loose form, it does look like there's an awful lot here. It's really not in the grand scheme of things. We saw this last year when we did the bunker at our farm. We looked like we'd got an awful lot of chaff in there, and then once we started leveling it and squashing it up ready for compaction, it turned out to be very little of the bunker indeed. There was certainly space for probably 3 times as much in there, if not more. And it's the same with this. It looks like there's an awful lot of chaff in there. It's just because it's in those long strips. It's not actually. Once that gets compacted, that's a drop in the bucket when it comes to that there. One thing I do want to do very quickly is just see how far this is coming along. It's not going to be ready until tomorrow morning. and it's not telling me. Maybe it doesn't do loose material like this. It's just scanning the ground. Yeah, so it must. I'll have to do it with the help menu instead. 70%. Okay, that's kind of what I figured. So this will work on scanning bales, but it won't work on scanning, well, at least a small patch like that anyway, for whatever reason. Oh, 5 litres of grass left in there. That's fine, that'll rot away. Right, let's get this back to the farm and let's finish off spraying our fields. In terms of what has been done, you can see that I've sprayed out field 50 and I've also sprayed field 49. I started onto field 53. I'm pretty much out of spray already. I've used up all of the refills. That field is huge. It took up a lot more spray than I was expecting, and you can see obviously the thin edge here. This is where the border of the field was. That's where there was no crop, and then these little bits here, this is the damage that was done to the crop as we were sort of doing our manual bits of ploughing around those islands, and again just here on these edges where I had to drive into the field a little bit to get the plough started. That's what those little flecks are. That's why it's not a perfect coverage in that bit there. But that's pretty much the rest of our day now, is just going to be running back and forth with the sprayer. Let's get the truck set to 32 so it matches traffic speed. There we go. Turn the beacons off now. We'll get this back to the farm. We'll go refill the sprayer and get that working on another couple of fields, and then we'll probably turn in a little bit early tonight. I might actually, while the work is spraying, I'll probably come back with the roller and I'll roll out field 24 that we've just mowed with the chaffer. We'll get the rollers on that and we'll get that weeded to stage 2. I don't know if I'll do the other grass field tonight. I'll probably have to do that tomorrow instead. And then tomorrow is probably going to be more of the same, more spray work to do the fields that we haven't done. And then we'll have some silage to sort out as well. Plus, it'll be day 2. We could look at maybe checking out the price of cows as well. We're expecting day 3 to be the best price for cows, but they might be low enough for me to actually go ahead and pick up some of those tomorrow. And we will be picking up our mixer tomorrow as well, and we do still need to get that in place. And I'd like to have a little bit of TMR at least made and in the food trough, so that when the cows come in, they've instantly got a little bit of food, and then have a load more made up still in the trailer that we can just unload as soon as we start to increase the number of cattle in the pen. It's going to take us a while to put 50 cows in there using our Betimax trailer. I think we can only move a maximum of, is it 9? Might only be 9. Might even be less than that. It might be 7. It won't be many that we can move, in that trailer, because it is a small trailer. But we will move as many cows as we can. It'll take as many trips as it takes. And when we do actually go to auction and buy those cattle, we do have that animal trailer. We're up to about 70 sheep as well. If I actually have the sheep bred at all today, let's have a look. No, so they are out of lambing season, that's what I thought. But we are still making wool. As you can see, we're onto another pallet now. That's pallet number 5. So all through summer we should get a nice steady production of wool as well. And then hopefully we'll have a nice little stockpile to sell. And we'll hang on to that. There's no immediate need to sell the wool. We'll hang on to it until we get either a very good price or even a great demand. One of the two. We'll see what happens. So let's get all this equipment kind of put away. Carry on with the spraying and the rolling, and I will see you back on the farm very soon.